So I had already drafted the patterns. The video is on my channel. Now what I'm doing here, I'm just folding my fabric into two. Then because I want to cut the front part, I'll be folding in the zipper allowance. Then I'll be placing my pattern like so. Then I'll just pin it down and cut it all through. Once I was done cutting the center front piece, now I'm just placing my pattern like this to cut the side back. So now after adding allowance to the part that will be forming my shoulder dart, I'm just pinning it in place and I will be cutting. Kindly note that your fabric should be folded into two and the right sides should be facing for you to get two pieces. So fold your fabric into two, right sides facing, then cut this out. So this is how my pieces are looking. Now I'll grab the center front piece that I did cut out initially. Then I'm going to place the side fronts like this, and I'll be stitching the sides, right sides facing. So I'll just be stitching them here like this. Okay. Moving on to the back side of the dress, I've placed my fabric into two. Make sure you've not folded this time round because we are cutting the back side that has the zipper. So you're going to fold out the zipper allowance like this. Then you'll pin it down and cut it through. Remember to add allowance to the dart area. So I've proceeded to cut my side back just the same way I did for the side front. I folded my fabric into two, then I placed my pattern like so, added allowance, then cut out. Now I have two pieces for the side back. I'm just writing in the initials that this is the side back. Now you're going to stitch the side backs to the center back pieces. Now grab your front piece, then place the side pieces on it like this and stitch down the side seams. Now from the waistline, mark up 2 inches. From the waistline, you're going to mark 2 inches, then mark this 2 inches all the way to the other side of this top. This is where we will be stitching in our printed fabric strap. You will see the one that is in the design that we are following. This is the strap I'm talking about. You can see I've gone ahead to fold it, to iron it down both sides. Now this is how I will be stitching it. I'll be placing it like this, then I'll be stitching it all through. Now I have another piece of fabric that I've ironed the top part. I've folded one part of it. Okay, now this is how I'm going to stitch it. I'm going to place it like this from the wrong side, then I'm going to stitch it through. Okay, like this. Now this is how it is looking. Now I'm going to fold it in to the right side. See, remember I stitched from the wrong side. Now I'm top stitching it from the right side like so. This is how it is looking. I've done that and I've gone ahead to do the same thing on the back pieces, and you can see they're looking so neat, so beautiful. Moving on to the lower part of the dress, I've cut out my skirt pieces and I've notched the part that I'll be stitching down my dart. So I'm just unpinning. Remember the back piece is the one that will have the zipper allowance. You can see mine, right? The top one that is folded is the front one, and the one beneath is the back one. This is the front one. So I'm just notching this like that. As you can see, I've gone ahead to stitch one part of the back, just one part of the back to the front one. The part that I've stitched is the part that doesn't have the overlap, okay, because the overlap will need to be sandwiched in the other part. So I'm going to show you how I'll be sandwiching the overlap. Here's my overlap. I'll just take the pattern out, and as you can see, I've already stitched down the printed fabric like so. So I'm going to show you how I'll be placing it. This is how I'm going to place it. I'll be sandwiching it in between the back fabric, the back piece of the skirt, and the front one, like that. And while at it, I'll open it up like this and I'll stitch this top part just to make sure that this overlap stays in between in the skirt. So I'm just pinning it down, then I'll stitch it. When that was done, this is what I have. This is the back part, so you can see I've stitched it down. Now I'll open it up and this is what I have. Yeah. Now at this part, you can see there is some space I've left here. I was supposed to tell you are supposed to go down by about 1.25 inch while stitching, or even 1.5, just to make it look beautiful in the front, because if you don't stitch this, the overlap will look like it's about to fall. It will look bad. So just go in by 1.25 and cut that through to have a neat finishing. I'm then going to open up my skirt like this, wide open. Don't mind the colors of this the overlap and the skirt. I used different textures of fabric, that's why it's looking different, but it's the same color. It's just the texture of the fabric that is different. That's why it's looking like that. Now from the top, I'll be coming down by 1.5, about 1.5 inch, and I'll mark that all through. Now this is the strap that I'll be using. I'll just measure it for you guys to know the wideness. It's about 2 inches wide, 2.5 inches wide. So this is how I'm going to stitch it. I'm going to place it like this, then I'll stitch it from the dots that I've just marked. And while at it, when I'll be done stitching, this is how I'm going to pull this part. I'm going to turn it like this, then I'll stitch the top side, the top part of this. Now I'm going to grab the top part of the dress. I'll just put them like this and notch the center front, the middle part, the center front part of that top. Then I'll place it on this one like so, right sides facing, and I'm going to stitch it all through. Now this is what I have. I'm just going to put in my zipper and extend the back seam to close it off, because the fabric that I'm using is stretchy, so I don't necessarily need to put in a slit. I'm just going to stitch the side seam all through. As you can see, I've also added my printed fabric to the hemline of my dress. Moving on to the sleeve, I have cut out 2 pieces, and for the flared section I've also cut out 2 pieces. I'm going to fold my sleeves like this, then I'm going to stitch You can see I've stitched them. This is how they're looking. Now turn them to the right side like so. Then I'm going to stitch these pieces on the top parts of the sleeve, and this is how I'm going to stitch them. As usual, I'm stitching from the wrong side, then I'll bring them out to the right side and top stitch. Now that is done, and this is how neat it is looking, no raw edges. Now I'll just grab my lower part of the sleeve and I'll just be showing you how I'm going to stitch this to the top part of the sleeve. Now, in order to get the proper folds at the side of the sleeve, like the one that is there in the design that we are following, I've first turned the flared section, I've turned it to the wrong side. This is the wrong side of the flared section. Then I'm putting in through the hole my top part of the sleeve. I haven't turned it anywhere, it's still in the right side, but I've just put it in like that. Then I'm going to pin it like this. I think this thing is self-explanatory. I think you should just look keenly at what I'm doing, how I'm going to grab this and pin it down, then follow the same. Remember, at this point, this is the wrong side of the flared section. The thing that I was saying is not in the wrong side, is the top part of the sleeve, the one that I've put in, it's still in the right side. Now, after stitching here on my sleeves, you can see I've gone ahead to add in my straps for the printed fabric. I've not ironed it down, that's why it's looking like that, but I'll be ironing it. Then I'm just going to attach my sleeves to the main part of the dress. Of course, I'll just be showing you how I'm going to attach them by pinning, and when I'll be done, I'll show you the final product.